attention yet?
Yeah, okay, there you go.
You're fine.
Hi everybody, welcome to the Unreal Engine live stream. Shelly doesn't like it when we don't pay attention to her.
She's doing that countdown. She's
You
like,
know.
stop talking.
Yeah.
You're going on.
Alright, so let's pick it up where we left off last time. We were reversing the order of
Well, we actually,
paths, and you,
yeah,
you came up
we-
with some other stuff too in the meantime.
yeah, we actually ended up going ahead and we laid down our waypoints for our MOBA dudes. And we laid down these little placeholder things to let us know which way our minions are going to flow from the primary direction. And Alexander is now staring at Shelly
Main screen
because
turn on.
Sorry?
Now who's not paying attention to who?
she's just letting you know. See, this is what happens. You don't pay attention to me. I don't pay attention to you. And before you know it, nobody knows what's going on.
Yeah, this was punishment. I'm sorry, Shelly. No more
Yep.
ignoring each other.
No
we
more
promise.
ignoring Shelly.
We're good, we're even.
All right. So anyway, okay. So we have our directional indicators to let us know which direction we're going to be spawning our column team 0, the first team's minions from. We have our waypoints laid out in lanes. Our waypoints themselves have waypoint number and lane information on them so that we can grab them and order them correctly within a set of arrays. And we then, in our game mode, where this pops up, yep, we created a series of arrays that allow us to assign a set number of waypoints to a minion who requests it.
Mhm.
So I've been kind of working on this off to the side. One of the big things that I ended up doing personally is kind of replacing this multi-array stuff with some structs, which allows for an infinitely expandable lane setup. You can just be like, just arbitrary number of lanes. I don't think you want a 17-lane MOBA, but you could.
I mean, no one's done it yet.
Nobody's done it yet.
So technically you're original.
Technically very original. But we end up, the reason I did that is because we end up in a very weird situation with the multiple arrays here, where we're going to actually have to, when we do our request, actually we'll just go ahead and build that, I guess. We're going to create a new function in our game mode. And this function is going to be for when a minion is spawned, he's going to request from the game mode, hey, I'm team 0, lane 2. How about you hit me up with my waypoints? And it will respond back with the waypoints. Now the problem with the way that we're going to handle this is that we are going to be duplicating an array. It's a tiny array, but it's still sloppy.
Yeah.
Now if we had done it with a struct, then we could just pull the data directly, right? Like, because the struct would be like, I am, team whatever, what is my array? It was much easier to have it just all stacked in there. You just do a little math and you could just find your waypoints.
Yeah, it makes a lot more sense when you're saying, like, I am this waypoint if you're this team, but I'm this waypoint if you are the other team.
Yep.
So, yeah.
So we'll call this get waypoints for minion. And it's going to take in two things. Both of them should be, I believe, integers, because we're going to take in team, and we're going to take in lane.
Yep.
And we have a total of 6 arrays. So let's get, and get. Okay, so we have our 6 arrays, and now we're going to have to choose the right one of these based off the data that we've received, which is actually fairly simple. We're going to be working with Team 0 and Team 1. So, first of all, since we know our team, we're just
Team
going
1 and Team 2, you mean?
Well, no, it's going to be Team 0 and Team 1.
Oh, right, because the arrays are named for Team 1 and 2, but the actual numbers are 0 and 1. Right,
Yes.
right.
It's awkward, I know, but it saves us from doing a little bit of extra math. If it really irritates anybody, we can go rename these, because that's really not that hard. Here, we'll just do that. What do you say? We'll just make it super easy on the brain. Should have done it in the first place, but of course that doesn't come to you when.
It's not that important.
Actually, it's not that important. Really?
It's the name.
What didn't we have an entire stream over? Guys, you need to comment your stuff and name it correctly. Use a naming scheme that works for you, and all of this stuff, so that when you come back to this 6 months down the line, after whatever, you know, and you need to go be like, oh man, how did I do this? Come on.
Okay, fine.
Bad.
Okay, fine.
All right. Anyway, so we
Fine.
take our team, we multiply it by 3. The reason it's 3 is that we have a set of 3, right? Like these are one set of lanes, here are the other set of lanes. So it's going to be 0, 1, 2, and then 3 once we get to team 1. So that'll start our initial bit here. And then we add that to our lane. So we do integer plus integer, and we add our lane. So now we have an index that we can pull from these, right?
Mm-hmm.
So we're going to need an output. And the output is going to be of type waypoint. We'll select our start of our function here. We'll create a new output. It's going to be of type waypoint reference. And we're just going to call this waypoints. Did I spell that correctly? It's really hard to see. Yes. And it's going to be an array. Now, here's the problem. How do we choose one of these, right? Well, as you figured, or a number of you have probably already figured out, we're just going to use a select node. Because select nodes are awesome. Select. There we go. This allows us to arbitrarily have a number of these, and then have an input.
And then you right-click to
add option pens.
Yep.
I don't know if there's, doesn't look like there's a hotkey for this.
No, this one doesn't have like a little plus symbol for it,
Yeah.
which threw me off the first time I tried to use one. So.
Yep. And we just plug in the type because these are, we'll just allow that.
Mm-hmm.
And then our minions will now be able to request our lane, their correct lane. Of course, we need to go make sure that they're set up so that the lanes are, you know, appropriately named 0, 1, 2, and 3, and so forth. But we'll get to that right quick. And then this should basically just magically work. On the other side, when we call this function, we're going to duplicate this array. So we're going to have an array waiting on the other side, and we're going to set it to that. That way, the minion is aware of the path he needs to take, and then the behavior tree can just reference that. So we'll compile that, nothing explodes, hooray, and we can move on. If you wanted to create an expandable version of this, using structs, you would need to modify whatever this number is. So call it, you know, number of lanes divided by number of teams. So if you had magically 3 teams and 5 lanes, which I don't even know how that would look. That would be amazing. It'd be like a Y thing,
It'd be like,
right?
yeah, like a Y-shaped kind
Right,
of
and like
thing, but I mean,
leads in.
technically you could.
I mean, yeah, it'd be really complicated.
I'm sure that would lead to a lot of situations where 2 teams gang up on one and all that.
Yeah, well, yeah, like
Here I am trying to
3 or 4
balance a theoretical game though, so
but it's not theoretical if you think about it, because things like Team Fortress Classic back in the day, they did 3 and 4 team CTF.
Oh.
And that got crazy. That got crazy really quick. Anyway, so we have this function. It's pretty fancy. Let's go check our waypoints. I believe our waypoints are set up as lane 0, 1, and 2. But, yep. Okay, so lane 0, and our waypoints probably start at 0. They do. Sweet. Okay, so those are all in the right order. This function should simply work. And since the minion's spawning behavior is going to be handled from here, we really don't need to do much else. I mean, off of event begin play, I'm going to do a quick set timer by event. Like so. And it's going to be a 1-second timer. Just want to make sure that this event fires itself off. And we are not going to loop it. We're going to allow it, once it fires initially, to reset itself. Or rather, that makes sense. No, you know what? We'll just do this. We are going to sequence. I was just thinking about this real quick, because I want it to fire initially, and then I want it to fire after that on a loop. So we'll call that, and we'll create a custom event called spawn minion wave. Since these things just happen at the same time, we will do a delay. I will make this one 1 second, just so that we make sure everything loads, everything's happy. We'll do a spawn minion wave, initially. Minion wave. And then we'll set timer by event. Looping. The event is here. And however, how often does this need to be? I have no idea.
Well.
So we're going to promote this to a variable.
Okay.
And
because I was just going to recommend 30 seconds.
Well, that's the thing though. How long does it take our guys to get to the other side? We haven't set movement speed. How long does it take them to kill each other? We have no idea. In the initial thing, we might want them spawning every 15 seconds because they're moving so quickly, or even faster. But when we get to actually game balance time, well, we'll just throw in a variable and it can be tweaked as you go.
There you go.
So we'll call this wave spawn time. And we'll set it initially just so that we can make sure things are happening. We're going to set it to a ridiculously low number, like 5. And so, I believe there was a question of how many minions might we be able to spawn or something along those lines, and I guess we're going to find out.
Yep, and that's the answer to how many minions you can spawn is, of course, completely based off of
what we're
all
doing
of your
with them.
other, yeah, like
Right.
what all you're doing, how much performance you're trying to get out of it, etc.
Are we using EQS? Are we using perception? Are they just using simple nav following? Are they using something more complicated? Do they have to really make decisions, right? Like,
how much is going on in the rest of the mechanics of the game that's eating up your CPU cycles?
Yep. So all of these things play into it.
Yep.
So this is going to be one thing, and then and then we'll take care of the actual spawning functionality within here. Actually,
you actually have to make it do the function though.
Right. Well, we have nothing to do right now. Our minions unfortunately need a little bit of work as well. So let's go look at our unit real quick because they need to call upon. I don't even think we did anything to these guys. I think the mesh is still floating. Nope. Okay. Good. We actually did that. Nothing on conscription, nothing on event. So these guys aren't even running the behavior tree, but there's nothing in the behavior tree. Remember, we didn't set any of that up. So we need to make sure that when they go ahead and spawn, they have the things that they need. So we're going to go ahead and create our waypoints. And we're going to expose it, and we're going to expose on spawn. And it's going to be of type waypoint. Yep, reference is fine. An array. And so, no, wait, we don't want to do that. I don't want to do that. I want them to request. I don't want to give them it. So we don't need to expose on spawn. We'll just do it on begin play. Because we want to do things like make sure that we get our game mode. And, oh, hello. That's right. It's not an execution. Get game. I always do that one. Get game mode.
Yep.
Cast to MOBA AI game mode. Like so.
And now you can extract the waypoint information.
Yep. We'll promote first.
Yep.
Stored game mode. Like so. And then we can go ahead and get waypoints. Whoa, hello. Come on now. Actually, we're going to set it. And we're going to waypoints, get waypoints for minion. Now we have a team and a lane, which we need to assign. And actually, we'll go ahead and we will assign those on spawn. So we will promote these to variables. Promote, not PRM.
Promote. You're alright.
Team. I just don't like them vowels. And promote to lane. Like so.
I see you do that too, where you're like, I'm going to promote this to a variable, then you
And then I just start typing the name.
variable instead of trying to make it promoted first. Right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I do that too.
So we'll go ahead and expose on spawn both of these.
Yep.
And I don't think they probably need to be editable, so we'll just change those to editable. That way you just see them. If we ever decide to pause the game and click on a dude, we'll be able to see them.
Yeah. Plus, we could also mess with them by changing up their team in the middle of the fight, just because it'd be funny.
Just because we can.
Yeah, just because.
Turncoats.
That'd be a pretty interesting mechanic.
Maybe?
Yeah.
You would have to...
No, yeah, you could have a hero that like has an area of effect that makes them change their team to the same heroes that same team as the heroes.
Right, but would you want them to follow the waypoints? Ooh. Yeah, sure, why not? I mean, I was just thinking about the math behind, okay, I'm at waypoint 5 on my end, that puts me at waypoint 2 on the other end. Or do I just start reversing back through stuff, but then you'd have the logic to reverse back through? So it seems like it'd be easier just to figure out what waypoint I'm on, and then transfer that back through math to the next waypoint for going the other way from the opposing teams. I don't know.
I mean, yeah.
It's
but-
obviously, right?
Yeah,
What
you
are
have
you
to-
saying? You sound
no,
crazy.
You have to still, go through it and
One way or another,
either-
you have to figure something out.
Either you'd have to inject, the other waypoints into it, or you'd have to just completely rebuild its
Exactly.
way, or just give it a whole new waypoint, and that's it. Not a big deal one way or the other. It would just be,
Just figuring it out.
it would be
What's
an interesting mechanic.
Yeah, what's the quickest way?
Not
to
what
do
we're
it?
trying to achieve today.
Nope. So this will give us our waypoints. Our team and our lane will be set on spawn. Everything should be happy from that point. And our dudes look like they have animation and everything, so we can go back to our spawn minion wave, and now we need to spawn waves. Okay, well, first thing we're going to need are spawn points. And we need to actually have, I guess, more usable ones than just blank ones. So let's create a new, let's see, did we create, actors. We're going to need a new blueprint. And actually, I think we can just base it off of, no, we don't have, what do we call them? They're start, player start. We'll have a new player start, select. These come with a bunch of functionality, like they can be searched for and things. Like, it might get a little weird for a moment because our dude might actually try to start on one of them.
Mm-hmm.
If like we ever delete our guy, he'll be like, oh, I'll just start at minion spot, whatever, because of random selection. But we'll call this minion spawn point. And our minion spawn points are going to be a lot like our lanes, but they're going to have a team, and they are going to have a lane.
Yep.
So that's why we kind of wanted a new one. That way we can just have this information. So really simple stuff.
Need a pair of ints.
Yep. Okay, fine. I'll change this one to a bool or an int first, and then I'll create the next one. And we'll do play team. Call lane. File save. Move that off to the side there. And this is lane 0. Cool. So we'll have a spawn point here. And we'll have a spawn point here. And we'll have a spawn point here. We'll just start with team 0 for the moment. Kind of just spread these out a bit. And oh, we forgot to make those right quick.
Editables.
Yep. Just make sure those are editable.
Mm-hmm.
Loop, loop. File save. Click and drag. There we go. That way, team 0, great. Lane 0, great on that one. This, come on, click. This one needs to be lane 1. And this one needs to be lane 2. So, just make sure that matches. 0, 0, and lane 2. Sweet. Okay, so now we have a couple of spawn points for our guys to spawn at. Actually, you know what? Just for the sake of the math, because we kind of need to have all that math, we're going to go ahead and duplicate these guys down to the other side. And wow, my lanes are so not straight. How can you tell? And move these in like so. Let's look at these guys. Everybody's going to be facing off to the side.
Yeah, they're all kind of
So
rotated
we
funny.
can just rotate these guys around.
Also, you need to rebuild the nav mesh.
Yeah, I know, that's being awkward up there. I'm surprised it didn't actually.
There it goes. Yeah, someone.
One errors. Needs lighting rebuilt.
Oh,
Whatever.
gotta rebuild that lighting.
Gotta rebuild
Yep.
that lighting.
Yep, I think Chris in chat pointed out, it's like, there's something floating in the middle of the
Yeah, there was a
level
cube there that we were talking about, like how to get.
around it. And
Yeah, your guys,
pathing.
they do weird stuff because of the way that we, how we weight pathing through. Actually, just turn that off right now. Makes it harder to see everything else. Sorry, guys.
Yep. There you go. So you're facing all those the right way.
Yep. Come on. Select.
Then they won't. That way your minions don't spawn in facing to the side. Like, where am I?
Well, what's funny is that since we're going to be doing a lot of manual spawning anyway, we're using this information. But if underneath the hood, a lot of this stuff becomes automatic for like spawning people. But it shouldn't affect us at all if we spawn. Our dude is still somewhere in the middle of the map. So, because he's sending out here in the middle of the map. Alright. So, oh, wait, hold on. We need to change one more thing over here, and of course that is Team 1. Could have selected them all, but you know.
Is it Team 1 or is it Team 0?
It's Team 1 for that side.
Alright.
Nah, I see. I'm got my eye on you. Alright. So, let's Control S, save. We have a bunch of spawn points. We don't actually need the spawn point anymore. It can go away. And now we need to spawn our minion waves.
Mm-hmm.
Actually, let's go ahead and have another little sequence here. Add a pin. Before we do that, get all actors of class. Make that go.
I refer to this as the brute force node.
Yeah, it's really.
Like, I need a reference. Give
I need
me
all the
things.
references. We need a minion spawn point, and then we'll just promote that. Promote to variable. Call it minion spawns. That's really all we need from it. I don't care about anything else. I mean, these actually do end up being a variable type minion spawn, but they could be actors for all we really care. Because we just need their locations and rotations. Alright, so now when minions start spawning, we need to come up with our behavior for this. So they spawn in waves.
Mm-hmm.
We have one minion type. Let's keep it to that type for right now. We can come back in and decide, oh, we'll spawn 2 of those and 5 of those or whatever. Right?
We can start building what waves are.
Right.
Yeah.
So we know we're definitely going to need a spawn. So we're going to need spawn AI from class. Definitely going to need spawn AI from class. Behavior tree is going to be the minion AI. The pawn class is going to be the minion. And its location, well, it's going to be of the type from our minion spawns. So we need to spawn at the same time. So one kind of loop of this needs to spawn 6 minions,
Mm-hmm.
1 at each location.
Mm-hmm.
Then we need to pause, allow that minion to go. Then we need to spawn another 6. Pause, another 6, pause, another 6, pause, another 6, until we get 5 minions out on each lane.
And then it takes a long pause.
And then it takes a long pause.
Alright.
Okay? So, I'm pretty sure there's a number of really weird ways we can do this.
I mean, can we just put a delay in a loop?
No. Because if you put a delay in a loop,
Latent, right.
it's latent. And
Correct.
it'll sit there and be like, don't care! And it'll sit there and jam your processing. So, it almost seems like what we need to do is have a for loop that does 6 dudes. And we'll go from 0 to 5 there. Okay, so this is our actual dude spawn. And we know the number of minion spawns we're going to have, so we can actually go ahead and get. And then we do, I mean, if you want to be super fancy, we get last index. That way we could have an arbitrary number of these. And then, come on, go up here. Minion spawn. So last index, or you can do length -1, same thing. We just want it to go to a 0 to 5 range. And then we do a get from here. Plug our index in here. And this will give us our, I'll just get transform. Really? That's okay. Well, it doesn't want to do that. And I'm gonna go ahead, I'm just gonna split the structure.
Mm-hmm.
You guys didn't know about that one? That one's really, really handy.
Yep. You can split and then reconfigure structs like that.
And I'm gonna turn on no collision fail, because there's a chance it might try to collide with the spawn point and it gets weird. And also we might screw this up badly and it might just chunk a whole bunch of guys in at once.
And we'd like
And
to
we
see
want them
that.
we want them to actually stack and expand outwards. And things
We'd
like
like to see the bug versus just be
yes,
like,
then
nothing
nothing
happened. Yeah, definitely.
So this will give our spawn. So we'll give this another custom event. We'll call this spawn. We'll call it spawn 6. I really know. Anybody got a better name? It's like because this is spawning 1/5, but it's spawning 6 guys, or
Spawn squad? I don't
Spawn,
know.
no, because
No,
that
it's
implies...
it's the whole team, right?
Yeah,
Okay.
this is because it's like
'Cause that'd be
the
like
waves
your-
are the whole group, and then within that there are 6 subwaves. Spawn subwave.
Yeah, subwave.
That's terrible.
I think that's what they call it down at the subway when you put something in their microwave. It's a subwave.
Subwave.
No.
Shelly's like, no,
No.
we're done here.
No puns.
Killing this right now.
No puns.
No puns.
Spawny McSpawn face.
Spawny McSpawn. Done.
Okay, this will be the first time
Spawny
anyone's ever said make it a something McSomething face,
face.
and that actually happened.
There, Spawny McSpawn face.
Did they actually name that boat Bodie
They
McBoat?
named the boat's like submarine. on
Yeah,
there.
it's got a research sub. They named Bodie McBoat face.
Oh, well, that makes me happy.
Yeah. And so we're gonna need a timer by or event. There we go. And this is gonna have to have some amount. I'm gonna give it 1 second. And ooh, do we really want to do that? I don't think we need a delay, but we need the delay to hold, right? Like,
Yeah.
this is how we want to do this.
I mean, besides the timer, we could do it
Well,
with
I
a
mean,
few other
'cause-
things.
Well, here's the thing. You could do looping.
Yeah.
And then, you know, every time it fires.
You could just do a do in, and then when you hit whatever 5
Yeah,
or
you do a
6, you just
do
have
in.
you have it like flip over. There you go.
Right? Like,
Yeah, do it, and then it'll just kind of try to spawn.
it'll allow 5.
Yeah. And then
Oh, yeah. No,
all you have
that's-
to do is when you're ready to spawn another wave of 5 is you do a reset, and then you turn off the timer and turn it back on.
Or you
basically.
just leave the timer on. Okay, this is going to sound completely terrible. Leave the timer on. And then spawn minion wave simply does this. This is frighteningly terrible.
It's elegant and it's terrifying.
And then-
simplicity.
and
It's
then
actually
we
kind of
do-
beautifully
And
simple.
then we do this.
Yeah,
Okay,
that works.
this is horrifying.
Why? There's nothing wrong with this.
No,
This
there's
is
nothing
perfectly
wrong with it, but it
acceptable.
is a little horrifying.
I think that the only horror is that it seems so easy. Why would that
Why-
be acceptable?
Okay,
Because like in your mind, it's like, no, it should be way more scary than this to set up a little looping timer, right? All right. So how do we make it do the thing?
well, first of all, we might want to set our game mode in our
Hey.
game to use the right game mode.
Professionalism.
Woo! Nailed it. Project setting, maps, and modes. We're no longer using a third-person game type. We're going to use the MOBA game AI. This might break some stuff absolutely terribly. Let's find out.
Oh, we need to rebuild that one object. Oh, here they come.
Bloop, bloop.
Cast failed. What did you do? Well, I mean, they're kind of they exist.
Hey guys,
They're
how's
existing.
it going? They are way too high detailed for what we're trying to do. I mean, you can already see like the amount of motion blur being applied as I move this.
You can just turn off motion blur also.
Oh god,
Oh, you're
it's
doing
getting worse.
something. Oh.
It's getting worse.
Oh, none of them are dying.
It's none of them are dying. Okay, we need to stop this.
we just keep spawning hundreds of them into themselves, and
Thousands upon thousands of minions. Okay, so we have minions spawning now. That's great. That's really awesome.
now we just need to learn how to turn it off.
Yep, we need to
Turn it off and back on again.
This stream is only about spawning, so you can just turn them off next stream.
There we go. That's right. The whole killing part happens later, guys.
Yeah, none of that.
We'll go ahead and take our wave spawn to. We'll do 15 seconds in this case because we get the initial spawn, then it resets, and then also what we need to do is we need to maintain. Okay, there are 2 ways that we can do this.
Mhm.
One of them's terrible, the other one's accurate, but requires a lot more setup. So I'm going to actually preface this with a comment, and it's going to be a red comment to let us know that we need to come and fix what we're about to do. Because what we're going to do is absolutely terrible. We need to replace this with a real managing system. And you're probably wondering, Ian, what are you talking about? We need to keep count of the number of minions on the field. So what I'm going to do is that every time we spawn a minion wave, I'm just going to ask, how many minions are there on the field by getting them all? Not good. Should not be doing this. This is really inefficient for what we need to do. We should be storing them in an array and removing them from the array whenever they die. But for now, this is much faster because we actually don't have any death effects. So we're just gonna hit max and kind of be done, right?
All right.
So we're just gonna come in right now and we're gonna say, count the minions.
And until they can kill each other, it's just gonna be like everyone kind of
Replace
moves to the
me.
middle and kind of hangs out
Yep.
together. They'll be buddies.
So we're gonna get all actors by class. We're gonna get minion. Spell it correctly. And we're gonna do, we'll do length. And we're gonna hook this up. And only when, I'll just do a branch over here, B. Length is less than or equal to, oh geez, calculator, we'll do, what we got, 5 times 6, 30, so if it's less than or equal to 30, because we saw how chunky it was getting with these guys being as high resolution they are. Basically, we're going to allow 2 waves. If it is less than or equal to, we allow it to reset. If it's not, then whatever. But we're on a looping 15 seconds, so in the next 15 seconds, if we are even down 1, or if we're down to, oh no, if we're ever down to 30, that should work. So it should only allow 1 wave at this point. But they're kind of stacking up oddly.
Mm-hmm.
Well, let's just check performance real quick.
Debugging.
Cast failed. What did I do? I don't know. I don't even know where that came from.
It's the best kind of debug option. You don't remember putting in the "what did you do" comment? I remember that one.
Are we gonna get another wave? I think we're gonna get another wave. There we go. Okay. Okay. And things are gonna get a little bit chunkier, but now, for the next 15 seconds, we should not get another wave. Please don't give me another wave. Please don't give me another wave.
Make him do the little dance.
What little dance?
Hey, it looks like you're good.
Okay.
That's the wave didn't spawn dance. So
Yep.
no worries.
All right. So now only a total of 60 of these guys would presence on the screen at any given time. I have no idea how badly this is going to affect performance once we start having nav meshing these guys. We might want to take it down to a total of 4 guys, and things along those lines.
Mm-hmm.
But whatever. For the time being, we'll see what goes. So, and what I was saying before about this is that on spawn, what we should do is we should store this, right? So we should have an array of minions. So let's go ahead and get that partially set it up. Partially set up. Oh. And call this a minion. I mean, even beyond that, we shouldn't actually be killing them. We should be pooling them and a bunch of other stuff because spawning is so expensive. But what can you do? And we're going to get this, and we're going to add, and that's going to be that. And even better if we knew, specifically, ooh, really? I have to cast this to start? Okay. Cast to minion. I'm going to do a pure cast here. We know what it is. That way it's just a little bit faster. Like that. Okay, so we know that we're getting a minion out of this spawn. Why we wouldn't get a minion out of this spawn, I don't know. Probably because you can feed in a class to spawn, but whatever. So we cast it to it, we add it to our big array, and then later on down the line, when we get to the death functionality of our guy, we'll be able to look at this minion array, remove ourselves from this array when we die, which shrinks the array, right? So we can still do things like last index and length and things along those lines to figure out how many minions are actually in the array, instead of doing this get all over here. But we want them to stop spawning for now, because if we, yeah, it gets kind of crazy. Okay, so with that done, our dudes need to move now.
Mm-hmm. Yep. So we got to actually get
We
their
got
logic.
we got to get them rolling, and getting them rolling is a little complicated. So we're going to need to go into our behavior tree to start.
AI? Yep.
So,
Cool. So if you were wondering why they're just kind of standing there, even though they have a little bit of, even though they're plugged in the behavior tree, we forgot to
yeah,
actually,
we don't actually have anything in our behavior tree. We never set anything up.
we actually didn't do any AI yet.
Yep. So, I mean, it'd be simple enough to just to kind of tell them.
Mhm.
Actually, let's do that really quick. Sequence, and believe.
I'm going to just do a move to.
Yeah. You know what? We'll just do a move to,
Mm-hmm.
and we'll do move to location. Move to location should be uninitialized, so I think they'll try to move to 0, 0, 0. So everybody will just try to head towards the middle of the map.
Okay.
And it'll lock us down. So we'll at least get a sense of timing on the spawn.
Oh, they're going to probably end up moving around.
Nope, it's uninitialized, so it's invalid. They don't do anything.
Oh, right.
So,
Did we actually ever set move to the move to location vector?
no, we've never set that. Let's go ahead and let's do that.
All right.
So we'll go into our AI controller. Because some of this stuff is already set up, and we'll do a set value as a vector. This is completely a testing vector. In my experience doing this before, like, we're going to be using actors for everything, because we can move to the waypoint actor, and then we can punch in the face another actor, whether that's a player actor or another minion actor. So actors become really handy for us just to use as reference.
Yeah, so vector or actor, either way you can move.
Yep.
That.
But this will be a good testing vector for us. And now what was our move to location?
Yep.
So we'll promote to variable, move to location P. I'm going to copy out that bit of it.
Yep. It's very important to remember when you're making these keys, you're going to name it, and then you have to go into the default value and change that to the actual name of the thing that you want to match it with. I know a lot of times when I was on the Answer Hub, I'd get people in here like, why does this
not work?
And they did everything right except for when they named it, they forgot to copy over the info into the default value.
Absolutely.
So that's good.
Okay, so that should be that. And now they still don't want to move. Why do you not want it? Because it's still saying invalid.
Mm-hmm.
Why are you saying invalid? Okay, fine. I will set your... Hold on. Well, when does this fire? Then begin play.
Oh, this is where the casting's failing.
Oh!
It failed? What did you do? Yeah, so there...
It has no controlled pawn.
Oh.
Fine.
I have to put in a tiny delay, because the AI controller does technically spawn in first by, like, just a little bit.
Yeah,
You don't even have to wait a full second.
No, I'm just gonna. I'm gonna give it. I'm gonna give it enough time. Da 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 da. Is that gonna be cut out of?
No.
Is Twitch gonna?
No.
Is Twitch gonna silence us
It was
for
too
using
perfect.
copy?
Ian, you sounded just like that song.
It was just like the
Look at the party, though.
copyrighted material.
Hey guys, what's going on over here?
This is the AI party. We're just
What are you guys doing?
I hear you guys wanted to play some MOBAs.
Yeah.
Is this where I can
This
play
is
some
great.
MOBA?
Yeah. How's it? No? Okay, well, we can safely say that we can handle navigation of 30 units easily. I would say 60, but they were already stopped. They were already here by the time the second group came up. Let's go ahead and, before we get too much further into it, let's slow our guys down a bit.
Now, actually, this is kind of interesting. If you go back to the AI controller,
To the AI control, okay.
so Balstein makes a really good point. Why don't we just do, instead of event begin play, do event possess? Like when it actually possesses him. Would that work instead?
Yes? Stop talking with all your good craziness. There we go.
And you wouldn't need the delay because it's on possess instead of begin play. So
Let's
that's
do
why.
that. Bloop.
There you go.
And
And the possessed pawn is now your get controlled pawn. So
Yep.
that's also that. So, Balstein, thank you very much.
bad perhaps. Alright, there we go. I'll actually probably accelerate them pretty quick. Okay, before we start. No, actually, let's see what changed. Because that's important.
Yeah, see if that actually did.
Well, they should start moving immediately. Because before there was a 1 second, almost a 1 second pause, but now they just drop in and go.
This could legit be my screensaver. It's just like a
Just
bunch of
dudes
these.
spawning. Actually, it'd be great, kind of like get the camera to frame them all, right? So it starts out wide and then it zooms in, and then they all just explode, and then it zooms out, spawns another group, and that could be your screensaver from different angles.
Oh
Just
my
that
gosh.
happening over and over again.
I just think about these
Or they could get to the
crazy
middle and start
ways.
dancing, start raving.
Good.
You know?
Is this? We're gonna have the most dance-based MOBA ever.
Just dance offs.
They dance
Everywhere
to death.
dance off. Alright, let's change our movement speeds here a little bit. Let's see. They are currently, well, walking. Character movement speed walking. Yeah, they're at the high end. They're at those UT speeds of 600. Let's what do you think? Having it more than let's do 200 by 100. This will make them much more slow. But since they start moving immediately, looks more like a wave to me. Of course, our next group's going to spawn in so ridiculously close.
Okay, so this is moving a little bit more like a classic creep wave.
Yep. And arguably, we're handling navigation for what appears to be 60 dudes.
Oh, cool.
Nobody dropped off.
And these guys would probably be a little bit more optimized too if we had gone with the mobile
Yeah, the
first
mobile
person
first
guy, because
person
this
guy.
is like the high poly first person character.
Each one of these dudes is like what?
Um,
50,000?
I think what a lot of people don't realize about Paragon is how much optimization went into it on the back end, and for also like models and particle effects and all that.
Yep, there's
So-
a lot of really good stuff going on back
So
there.
getting this many AI on screen in general is always kind of a interesting
Always
thing.
kind of fun.
Yeah.
All right, so we have them moving, but they're all moving to 000, which is lame.
Yep, they got to move down those lanes.
Got to move down lanes. So let's go look at our behavior tree here. So we're going to want to keep our move 2, but what we're going to want to do is we're going to need two things. We're going to need a sequence, and we're going to update our move 2, because there is a new value here. Observe blackboard value. By clicking that, if the move 2 value changes while this move 2 is running, it auto updates. Which is awesome, because what can you do then? Simple parallel node. So while we're moving, we can choose a new target. So we can create logic down here. I'll just create a sequence. I think this is a selector. Somebody's raising his hand.
Quick question.
Yep.
Why do we have a sequence into a simple parallel? Can we not just go right into the simple parallel until we have something to sequence?
Guess so, but we're gonna have something to sequence.
Oh, okay. Well, then never mind.
You know, murder.
Oh, okay.
Here,
Yeah.
I'll do that over here for you.
You're gonna make the murder.
Sequence.
Name it murder sequence.
Well, yeah, it's gonna be just murder.
Okay. Yeah, good.
Right? And then simple parallel will name movement. In all caps.
Movement. The most sinister form of getting from one place to another.
And then, I don't know, what do we, this is just, we'll just call, it's not, I don't like how it's called root up there. We've talked to Mieszko about that a bit. It's not technically the root, it's kind of it's the starting point, but the next node is technically the root. What do we call this behavior? We'll just call this minion, if I can spell correctly. Minion AI. AI. Okay. So we got these done. And what we're going to need to do is we're going to need to, I guess, we need a way to update what we're moving to.
Mm-hmm.
And we need to do it in a timely manner so that they never stop.
Yeah.
So we're going to need a service that is saying, hey, am I close enough to where I'm going? And then we're going to need some way for that service to either, we can do an update the move to, but really we also needed to say, hey, am I close enough to something I want to kill? Do I want to change targets from movement mode to kill mode?
Mm-hmm.
So we're going to create a service now. Now, for right now, we're just going to have it follow waypoints. But what we're going to do is we're going to create the service with in the back of our heads. We're going to do this as a service, so that way we can do just a. I know of the waypoint I need to go to.
Mm-hmm.
I know once I get too close to that one, I need to go to the next one. But also, my perception. We're going to use perception. We're going to say like, hey, oh, enemy minion AI. I need to go beat the crap out of that guy. And so we'll go and we'll beat him up. Or, hey, there's an enemy player, but no minion AI, no other minion around me, so I can go beat up with the player. But as soon as minion come into my perception, I need to deal with that fact. So we're just going to build this service right now for managing waypoints.
All right.
But then we'll come back to it probably next time, and we'll add in functionality for murder.
This will probably be the last new function.
This will be the last little bit
because
that
we have some Q&A. We want to get through the Q&A before we have to go off and get to meetings and 4.12 release stuff that you might be interested in.
Wink, wink, nudge,
wink,
nudge.
wink, nudge, nudge. It's coming soon. You know.
So we'll create a new service. I finally get to. Oh no, wrong button. Recreate my folder here. And we'll call it services, and we'll move this service into that services folder. This one's going to be update movement. No, hold on. Update target. Like I said, we're just going to need a target now. And just so we don't forget about it, because this is what we're going to do, we're going to change this, not from move to location, but to target actor. So now they're not going to move right now, but that's okay. That's okay. Okay, we need to override one of the functions over here, which is, I believe, receive tick AI. Yes, this one will work. So there are a couple things we're going to need to do here. One, we're going to have to get our controlled pawn. We're going to have to get information from our controlled pawn. So we're going to have to cast. And that kind of sucks, but we have to deal with that for right now. It'd be better maybe if we stored all of our stuff in our game mode, but even then we have to cast our game mode.
Yep.
It's just, we're going to end up needing this data from somewhere else.
One way or the other, this task, or this service, service or task?
This is service.
Service, yes, right. This service, I should say, it's going to have to reference information from outside of itself in order to be of any use to the AI. And that's the way that it is for any task or service within a behavior tree is you got to feed in the information one way or the other, whether it's looking into the behavior tree and pulling up the blackboard information, looking into the actual controlled pawn or the controller or the game mode. One way or the other, these things are just not going to know without some sort of external referencing.
Just to make sure, we did not add that one. We need one more blackboard key. It needs to be an int. It needs to be current waypoint. I believe we do not have that. No.
Okay.
Okay. Save, and well, we're going to have to go back into our AI controller, and we're going to have to say current waypoint equals 0. And I don't have an int. Wow, we're just going to have one of each of these, aren't we? Set value as int. Oh, and that reminds me, you guys, this is a blackboard setting here. If anybody's joining in kind of like without seeing how we created this, I just realized before I just kind of hooked in off of this line that was onto the bool line over here. It's get blackboard is what we're actually linking into down here.
Yep.
So when I do this, that's where it's coming from. And we're just going to say this one's 0. And we need to promote. And this one is, what do we call it? Come on, brain. Current waypoint. So, current waypoint key. We'll see, compile, current waypoint, paste value. So, and then we're going to update target. We need to, we need our key value. Wow, why is this backwards? Okay, variables, whatever. We need a current waypoint key. Not kit. Key. This is going to be, this one does not need to be, no, it needs to be exposed. You expose that, and this is going to be of type key, blackboard key selector. Let's get as int. Okay. Now that we have that, we can say get from here. And we're going to need some location data. So let's our location here. We're going to have that available for us. I'm just going to set a reroute node right there. Move this over. Get our location here. This is our waypoint. Our current waypoint, actually. And we are now going to do a quick distance thing. So we're going to minus a vector from a vector. We're going to get our vector length. I'm going to go ahead and allow it to square root it. If you're okay with working with bigger numbers, you can save a little bit of performance by not square rooting there. That's what the other one, if you do a vector length len, if you get vector length squared, it doesn't square root it, so you save a bit of math time there. Not crazy expensive, but also depends on what platform you're on. So now that we have that, we'll have our length, and whenever this is less than some amount, whatever that amount we choose to be, actually we can just promote to variable, and we'll call this length to, distance to update at. We'll expose it. Compile. I'm going to go ahead and set this one to like 150 to start. That's actually really close, given how often these things tick and how quickly these guys move. And then we need a branch, of course. So once that happens, we're going to need to set our int here to whatever it was plus 1. Plus 1. And you guys probably already see our problem with that going forward. We're not currently accounting for overage.
Mm-hmm.
We could do that. Maybe just do a select off of get last. No, wrong one. This one. Get last. Okay. Index. Last index. Okay. Whatever. And then instead of doing that, we do a select int. So pick A. We want to pick A for last index, like so. If this is greater than or equal to our last index. Pardon. If this is simply less than, I always get those backwards, our last index. As long as its last index is, or pardon, as long as the number that we're looking for is less than our last index, we will choose that. If it gets to the point where it's like, oh, I need to update this again, and it'll be kind of spammy at the end, saying I'm just going to update the last one, but we'll never get an out of range error. So, hooray! And then we need to, of course, update the thing we're moving to. So we need a new key, and we need to, we'll call this target actor key. I believe that's what we named it. Target actor, sweet. And we expose it. We get it. And we set as, we don't have actor, so we set as object. Objects are everything. And we set it to this. There we go. Now, there's no decision making going on here. And this functionality here is going to be removed. So we're going to comment this, remove, because decision, how do you spell decision? D-E-C-I-S-I-O-N?
Yeah.
To be made in behavior tree. So that kind of chunk is going to be removed because we need to figure out what we want as our target actor. This is just, hey, we want to move from point to point. Let's make the service do this. Everything be cool at that front.
All right.
I think this is functional now.
There's one thing I'd like to point out there.
What you got?
Jan Sorted said that if you take your index here, so you see what you're doing with your select int, instead get rid of all that and just do a max node. And
Yeah, all right.
I mean, it's a good point.
Well,
no,
okay,
I mean,
hold on.
just
What's our max?
Yeah, max int. There you go. It just gives you the larger of the two, right? Yeah.
But I don't want the larger of the two.
I thought that you is A smaller than B.
This is the top of the line.
Oh, sorry, it's the opposite that you
right,
want.
because wouldn't this? I have no idea how max works. Returns the maximum value of A and B. Well, this
A
one would
and B. Okay.
this one would constantly be going up. So this
No,
one would
then
be
never
7
mind.
and this one would be 6.
Never mind.
So we
I thought
return
that-
7.
I
Right?
thought that would have picked whichever of the two was higher, I guess. But no, I guess not.
Unless this is a limiting thing, and I don't know.
I don't know. It was a suggestion, but I guess it's not exactly what we're looking for.
Whatever. Maybe.
They keep saying, you want min, use min.
Use min.
Just check out min.
Min would work.
Min O? He's a cool guy. I like min O.
Yeah, min would work. Min. That would work.
Alright.
Because then we would return the smaller of the two. And if they're equal, it's irrelevant. No, that's a good idea.
Okay.
I like this idea. This idea is better. Math is better. Look at that. We got rid of all the nodes. Good job, guys.
Yeah, Jan Sorted said, I meant min.
I meant men. Okay. Anyway, I think this is functional? Question mark? We will have to see.
This is functional, question mark.
Yeah, because we didn't. Okay, so let's go back into our. Because we're like, oh, let's run this. Wait a minute. What have we forgotten to do? And
Compile a thing?
nope. We need to actually add the service.
Ha ha ha, we made all that thing. And
Yeah, we made the thing and didn't do anything with it. So we'll add this at the top level.
And then below movement, move to, and then your selector down there.
Yep.
You need to change that out also.
Current waypoint. Sorry. Current waypoint E is. Where is it?
Down at the bottom.
Waypoint. Target actor key is target actor. And then, what'd you say to this one? This one's target actor.
Oh, is it just you want to just do that? I feel like everything else is extraneous since it's not doing anything.
No, we leave it in place.
Okay.
Yeah, it doesn't do anything, but it also doesn't really hamper anything.
Okay.
It's going to do something.
Yeah.
So we leave the prototype stuff in there. It should be okay. Let's Control S and see them break. Yeah, they are freaking out pretty bad here. And let's see if we can't figure out why. So I've paused. Wow, okay. Problem with working with so many AI at this scale is you go to try to find one. I don't know which one it is. Hopefully, okay, we can see it execute.
It's failing that conditional check.
Oh.
Distance to update at isn't set or something, or?
We're not setting our initial location. So they're never moving.
Oh.
Nah. Yeah, okay.
So what happened then?
So, the funny thing is, so we don't have an initial move to location, so we're never knowing anything that we're close enough to.
Oh.
And so we're never updating it. So our current move to actor is nothing. And we're never moving, so we're never able to update. Since we're never setting ourselves to 0, right? So, might want to do that. Might be an okay thing for us to do. So, here we go. I believe we are casting back here, so get waypoints. And then we will do a get. Come on. Get. And we're going to need a set value as. Okay, fine, we won't do that. Set value as object.
Mm-hmm.
And we're going to get that. drop it in there, plug that in there, and do promote. And this one we will call target actor key. Compile that, name it target actor. Compile, save. We will still see a little freaking out here. But hopefully it'll just lock on the move too. No, we are still freaking out on the move too. Target actor on any of these guys is still being set to none. So as we can see down here, target actor set to none. Ooh, wait a minute. Get waypoints, get 0. Was this... Let's see if we're actually getting anything out of this. This might be happening too quickly because of our function. Wait, our function's on begin play though, isn't it? Yeah. It's right back in here, isn't it?
On possess.
Oh no, this is in our minion. Ooh. Damn, that's right. Alright, hold on. I bet anything if we just do something lame. Like delay.
Just
We'll
needs to
fix
have
that
like,
here in a sec.
have like a moment to figure out what its waypoints
If that's
are.
what it is, then... No, we are still not moving. Why you no move? Alright, we're gonna do a print. Just gotta do a print.
The classic
Actually,
way.
hold on. I'm on the other screen, guys, so one sec. I need to make sure that I spelled everything correctly, because that could be a thing.
Target actor.
And
Check it on the...
Minion AI. Target actor. That should be right. Okay. I'm gonna bring it back over now. And print hello. We will actually be printing the display name of this. File save. We get a whole bunch of nopes. Ooh. What the?
That's very odd.
That's odd. We're not getting anything.
Yeah.
I mean,
Did we actually fill that array before we tried to do this?
Yes. The Minion AI, pardon, the Minion himself. Event begin play. Game mode, get waypoints. We're setting our waypoints.
In the minion. Okay.
Okay, so we're copying that out. Okay, fine.
Yeah.
This is going to be terrible. For loop. Pardon.
For each.
For each. And then we're going to get name.
It says you have disabled screen messages. Thanks, Harley.
Does it really?
Yeah.
How did I do that?
That's strange. Yeah, hit play.
How do I undisable screen messages?
Disable.
No, it says disable all screen messages.
Oh,
messages
okay.
to suppress.
Suppress. Never mind.
It's
You're
if
wrong,
if you want to hide the thing that says you haven't rebuilt your lighting again.
You're wrong, Andrew. I know who you are.
File save. Play.
There we go.
Ah! Played too soon. Oh, I know you guys have stuff. Don't even be like that. Okay, yeah, no, they're not getting their waypoints.
Whoa. Okay. So yeah, that's it.
Well, they're just simply not getting their waypoints.
Yep.
So
I had a feeling.
yeah, something weird because we set a breakpoint here. It's not
And
hitting.
that's not kicking off.
So we'll go quickly. I know we're short on time here. Where was that? That was in our game, MOBA, and then we were doing a function. Oh, does this not work?
Oh.
This doesn't work. That means we're gonna have to refactor this into a.
You don't want to do that.
Yeah.
Out of the complete. There you go. Yeah, I already saw that one causing some issues.
Display. Print. It might be that the select node isn't allowing these things through, which is a possibility. And then we'll do a toggle breakpoint. That's not going to allow us to do that, is it?
No, you have to.
Whatever. Let's see if we get some prints. No, we're not getting any prints.
Yeah, okay, so that's just not working right
Yeah,
there.
that probably means that the length here is returning 0.
Alright.
So if we delete this, last index out in file save play. Okay.
Alright.
We hit our little thing here.
But it's not printing anything.
Well, it's not printing anything yet. Current value -1.
Oh, so that's not good.
So yeah, that's not a thing.
Yep, so it's definitely the way that this, the waypoints are being populated into the list isn't working based off of this.
Yeah, let's play again real quick. Thank you. Current, no, these are not being set.
Oh.
I could have sworn we got this all set up last time.
Okay, well, we can just go back.
Well,
and
no,
set
I mean,
those.
this is going to take a lot longer, but
Okay.
functionally speaking, we should be correct, except for the fact that we are not building our waypoints.
Okay, so all we have to do is basically feed in the
Oh yeah, we just
waypoints.
need to basically fix all of this.
You can phrase it however you like.
Great. Okay, so we are first things first. Back in here, disable this waypoint, pardon, disable this breakpoint. Back to our event graph. We are resizing, doing a bunch of stuff, doing a for each loop for.
Ian should have commented things.
I could have sworn we got this actually functioning last time. And oh, really, dude? Really?
You're not setting the item, you're setting the index. Or size to fit. Is that really it?
I don't know. But I know that needs to be on. Because if you don't, like these sizes aren't being set. So the only thing you could do is do an add, but we don't want to do an add because we don't know the order that we're getting these things in. Oh, we got into our waypoints. We just had it pause on the other screen, disabling breakpoint, and resuming.
Oh, there they go.
Well, we're getting information now at least.
All right.
So it looks like there's.
It looks like that was part of it.
Yep, there's a chunk that we oddly though did not update or did not print from our game mode.
Yeah. Now, what about the items on those? Aren't we supposed to be like those are all not plugged in?
Where?
On the set array element. It says index, but the items are all blank. I mean, don't you?
Are you serious?
Don't you like? Am I? Okay, so that was like that's what the thing I said earlier was. We know is like the items don't have things, and then okay, never mind. Love you too, Ian.
Good call.
No,
Or whoever called that out, like
let's see. Aerial app also called it out.
if you saw you aren't setting any items, yeah,
yep.
nope, good call.
Look at
We
that.
have a giant array of nope. One of those mornings. Saves.
It's
Play.
3 o'clock in the afternoon, but sure, it's morning somewhere.
Whatever, man. What do you know?
You know that you didn't put items in the thing.
Okay.
Oh, look at all those waypoints we suddenly have, and things suddenly are starting to kind of do the thing.
And they're all going down the wrong lane.
Well, they chose a lane though, so at least they have that going for them. You know.
Da 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 da.
Well, those guys all have their lanes, so clearly.
No, they're not.
Oh.
They're going to the other side of the field.
Well, they're trying to get to the other team's lanes because we have set up one direction of lanes and we haven't reversed them for the other team. Remember? That thing we said we're going to do in the
No,
beginning?
that's exactly what we should have done. Okay, well, we have a lot of debug to do. We're going to go ahead and do that off screen. We have some questions from you guys. But the nice thing is that you can see that some of our logic is actually functioning. Like if you look at this guy, he's going through the waypoints, and he's not harshly stopping as he moves through them. Or he shouldn't be. It looks like he twitched there for a bit, but that's just a distance thing. We'll increase the distance at which he checks, and it should be okay. And then everybody piles in, and it looks like, oh wait, here comes team 2. They're gonna go in a loop here. They had to go to our waypoint 1 and then turn around and.
Oh hey guys, this is where all the cool kids hang out.
You guys, I'm gonna do what you guys.
Yep. So.
But navigation's working, and the computer didn't explode. So high fives, everyone.
Yeah, it looks like we're doing it kind of performantly. That's nice. But yeah, we just have to do that array reverse that we said we were going to do.
Yeah, it looks like we might have
It's
some.
not that complicated.
Yeah, and we have some math issues with it looks like who's choosing what lane and whatever, but we'll get to it. Let's go ahead and we'll stop this and we'll load up our questions here.
Yep.
Let's see. One of the top ones. What are the limitation of crowdbots compared to standard AI? Honestly, we don't have too much of an answer for you other than the crowd they will take up more CPU cycles just because they're trying to figure out how to bump into each other, move out of each other's way, things along those lines.
Yeah.
So if you don't need them to do that, if you don't have like guys crammed together, then you don't need to use the crowd AI stuff.
I don't even know if GTA or something like that even needs that much handling of crowd AI.
They do a lot of other stuff through.
Yeah.
They have an animation system underneath the hood that handles a lot of that stuff, a lot of physics-based stuff. It's really good stuff. What is the highest minion populations you've reached in, say, Fortnite or Paragon? I have no information on Fortnite. Paragon, actually, I don't have any information on Paragon either. But we can math it out a little bit.
Did a little math earlier.
6 lanes, and it looks to be about, you have about 3 minion waves running at any given time. So you end up with, I think it's a group of 5, a group of 5, and a group of 6. So it's like 3 melee, 2 range, 3 melee, 2 range, and then 3 melee, 2 range, and a siege.
No, it's 6s and 7s.
Oh, it's 6s and 7s? Well, this number goes...
3 melee and 3 range.
This number goes up pretty substantially, but
yeah,
if we do... Let's see. We'll just... Calculator time, everyone! We do... What is it? You say 6 plus 6 plus 7?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
and that would be your standard
guy.
like 3-guy wave.
Yep, and so that's your 3 waves. And then you times that by 6. It's 114 minions at any given time.
So you can probably
roughly
have more than that too. And then there's, like you were saying, there's guys in the jungle, but they don't really go anywhere.
Yeah, they're not doing
technically
anything.
they do have navigation because they use navigation to get around if they chase
yeah,
you
for whatever
a
reason you angered them all at once. They tried to follow you around.
Mm-hmm.
So pretty substantial in that case. There is a lot of going on underneath the hood. That like one, they're not actually using navigation. They're using a navigation flow system that I guess Mieszko put together. I'm not entirely sure. I don't want to give. I think he said he did that when I was talking to him.
We should bring him on again.
We should totally bring him on again. And he could talk more about all the awesome under the hood stuff. I mean, we were talking about this earlier, before we even started. It's like I'm going to do MOBA Minion AI. It's like, well, they're kind of dumb. And it's like, I know they're kind of that's useful because then we can show simple behaviors involving into complex behaviors. Because I know the next question here, and segue, somebody is, I'm not entirely sure, interested in AI for RTS style game. Well, we're doing a portion of that.
Yeah, like those waypoints that you're putting down are basically like where you clicked at.
Yeah.
And you set a little waypoint there, and then it eventually goes away when they reach that point.
Yeah, and they'll, like, our guys, if we put a bunch of stuff in their way, they'd nav around it. So you can be like, tank, go across the other side of the map. It's okay, I'm going. And you go to the other side of the map.
And you get around all the
then
stuff.
what kind of behavior do you want to happen between now and then? Do you want them to engage? Or are you doing a force move and shoot?
Which is always important if you're doing an RTS, because move and shoot versus just keep running and
stacking behaviors, right? Where you build yourself a big old sandwich of behaviors. And actually, we kind of wanted to do a series of AI videos that covered like lots of different AI. We started with the MOBA one, thought about RTS. Somebody suggested, us spending the next 2 years figuring out fighting game AI. Because I have no idea.
On a note for the fighting game question, though, a lot of people were asking how to do a lot of the fighting game, just basic mechanics. There's actually a fighting game template on the forums that someone's made. It's really awesome. I'm gonna have to put that onto a showcase because that was a cool one.
That.
Yes, I don't know if it has AI, but it has all the function hitboxes and all the primary combat functions and combos and all that. So.
Well, if we could use that as a basis to try to figure out some
I
AI,
don't see why not. It's being freely
that
given
would
out. So.
I would totally. That would be really nice because then we wouldn't have to run through the intro portion here. We could just be like, let's create a bot, and we could run with it from there.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Somebody asked if there's an advantage to using AI perception component instead of the EQS system. So perception is about finding things. EQS is about making decisions about things.
Mm-hmm.
So what you want is actually perception to narrow what you are trying to make decisions about. You can do get all actors of class within EQS and it will return everything. And then you can make decisions about everything or everything within a radius, or whatever. Perception allows you to narrow that a little bit further. It also has a memory. And so it's not just like, what are all the objects within 5 meters of me? Mm-hmm. You can be, what are all the objects within 5 meters of me that I remember within the last 30 seconds?
Yeah, and it's also got more, it's basically, it has built-in triggering systems where in EQS you have to tell it when you want it to trigger versus when you have a perception system, you have a bubble around you basically, and when something like pops that bubble, it's going to trigger something and say, hey, behave, do something, change stats.
Yep, you can change your stats, you can change your behavior, your blackboard, or you can fire off an EQS from Blueprint to make a decision about what you've seen or heard or whatever, right? So again, EQS makes decisions, perceptions finds things to make decisions about. Is there a purpose why you don't use more dimensional arrays? Yes, actually, it is a limitation, I believe, of the user interface of the Unreal Engine currently. We don't actually support multi-dimensional arrays within Blueprint. Now, the way you get around it, which is the reason I wanted to use a struct in our waypoints, and I have it set up on struct on another project, is that you can have a struct array that has array values in it. So you can end up with a two-dimensional array
by building it out of a
by
struct.
having a struct.
Okay.
You could end up with a three-dimensional array by having an array of structs that has an array of structs that actually has an array.
So there you go.
Right.
And it just keeps going. It goes it structs all the way down.
Structs all the way down. So there are ways around it, but yes, the multi-dimensional array would be the absolute way to go with the waypoint system. We set it up a little bit quick, on the fly kind of deal, and yes, went back later. Structs work far, far better in this case. Well, Blueprint structs specifically. If you're working in C++, have fun. You have all the multi-dimensional array stuff that you can make. Yeah, just go for it.
Yeah.
Let's see. Does one blueprint array like that suffice for any type of minions, or does each evolution of the minion require its own array? Okay, so you're talking about like the where we were storing minions.
Oh, okay.
Right. So we were storing minions in an array. Now the thing that we've done is we've created a base class for minion.
Oh yeah.
And yes, that array will store anything that inherits from minion.
Good.
We could have made it an actor array, and then we could store anything that we wanted into it that is an actor.
But this makes more sense because then you have minion, and then you have child blueprints of that, where you have this is minion melee, minion range, minion siege, minion super,
right? Whatever. Minion jungle red buff, minion jungle blue buff, minion jungle just standard white guy, right? Like whatever, right? Yeah. So yeah, we could store all of those in there. That'd be fine as long as we don't do something very specific like sorry.
What?
Started laughing thinking about the thing that I just said.
What, standard white guy?
Standard white guy. Like,
it's
really,
what
dude?
they are.
They are, but it's still
they're in Paragon's jungle. They're just the white minions.
They're just the white minions.
Yeah, what's the big deal?
It's just funny to me. I was like, really? Is that what I used to describe this? Okay, but yeah, it'll store all of those things. Now, if we went back and made a minion melee, then we would be limited to minion melee and its children. Which wouldn't work for us because we need to get all of minion types, which includes ranged, and siege, and supers.
Unless we just wanted the one. But
exactly.
That's neither here nor there.
And maybe we do just want the one, but I can't imagine a situation where we would want to spawn a wave that's like, well, it's okay to spawn this wave, but you're just down a ranged guy. because we have too many range guys in the field.
Yeah, that'd be kind of...
No, you stop the entire spawn.
Yep.
Anyway.
All right.
I have
you go.
No, all right, no, you read it.
All right, I have a service running every 1 second to check and see if player character is near the possessed AI. This service is constantly the most taxing thing when I run performance checks on the session front-end profiler tool. Said that funny. Are there any tips to reduce this performance hit? And then he added the note, I started noticing the frame drop past 60 to 70 AI units spawn together. I'm using a multi-sphere trace for objects. The multi-sphere trace for objects is definitely the heavy part of that. And just if anyone else out there is trying to figure out, how close two things are, there's a few different methods. Dot product, just grab two vectors and compare the vector distances. Do a line trace, which is way less expensive than a sphere trace.
Yeah, I would argue in this case, like, why are you doing a multi? You know the player.
Yeah. If you know what
Even
the
if you have an
player is.
array of players, it'd still be faster to do.
Yes, like if you have
Distance.
six total, or whatever, if you're only looking for 5 players, because there's 5 on each team, MOBA style, or something like that, then you just have an array of 5 people you're looking out for, really.
Yeah.
And then you just get 5 vectors, and you ping those 5 vectors every whatever interval. A lot easier.
Or you don't bother and allow perception to fire for you.
Yeah, Perception's also a good option. I don't know which would be more performant, just get vectors every...
Perception would probably be...
Perception? Okay.
Well, okay, think about it like this. You're either running something every second, which is admittedly predictable, but you're still running it every second. If I'm doing a multi-sphere trace, then I have to trace against everything that I want to find.
Yeah.
And potentially that means just everything.
Oh.
And then, okay, what if I have 5 actors that I have to do distance calculations for? Well, I still have to do a distance calculation. And if you're not, then you could make it more performance by, using squared numbers. But then you're working with really big numbers that maybe don't make sense in your head.
Yep.
So that's a problem.
So
or you could use something that just fires off whenever somebody gets close, and that ends up being a little bit better. You could take it. This is something I haven't tried, but update overlaps is fired constantly between stuff that allows, when stuff allows overlaps. So you get a lot of events driven that way. So you could have a sphere that follows your minion around, and when it updates an overlap because he's near enough to a character that you care about, they both have to generate overlap events. That's actually a new performance thing, which makes it nice.
Yeah. Because
it's like, oh, this thing can overlap, but does it generate overlap events? No. Okay, we're not going to deal with this.
And so you just take that whole calculation out?
I still have to update overlaps. The physics engine is still updating overlaps. It doesn't care. So you might as well piggyback off of that and say, yeah, if these two things are overlapping, why not? And perception kind of works, I think, in the same general sense. It's like it's fast. So I would argue for, I would have to say, check the differences between overlapping with a sphere, collision sphere that you have come with you, and versus perception. Overlaps sometimes can be a little, what's the, unreliable.
Oh, okay.
Well, in my personal use, I've run into cases where they haven't been the most reliable, but that doesn't mean that's probably just on me. It's probably user error at this point, because I know Ori has made a lot of really big strides in getting this stuff to work out really well. So start with perception. If it's still too heavy for you, because perception, you'll just fire an event.
Yeah.
You don't even have a service running anymore.
Yeah.
You're just like, oh, player got close to me. I'm going to do the thing. I'm going to flip that bool on my behavior tree, and we're going to go into murder mode.
I feel kind of silly even thinking about, well, how do I make that service more performant when it's like, oh, well, I'm just looking for
I'm just looking for a dude, and I need a trigger, and
really,
update perception.
I think just depending on how complex you want that minion to behave as well, using perception might be better just because you want him to remember that slight distance and have that like fall off range and all the other stuff. A sphere will just be a sphere. Anything in that radius is detected, anything outside of it is not.
Yeah.
So
it does shortcut a lot, like you're saying, it shortcuts a lot of that, because then the minion will see you, start chasing you, and if you pull out of range, he'll be like, okay, I forget you, and he'll go back to whatever he was doing.
And I mean, if you're not using that, then and you want them to disengage eventually, then you have to work out the math yourself of how far away are they in the disengage. So might as well just kind of use the AI perception for that.
It's all in C++. It's all a little bit faster.
All right. Cool. Well, that looks like
all of our questions.
Yep.
Unless anything down there at the bottom of chat.
Nope. We're good.
All right.
Thank you all.
Yep.
We'll see you
Bye,
next time, and
uh,
we'll do all the other stuff.
Wes is on next week on the training stream. I'm not entirely
Tuesday.
sure what he's doing.
And then
I
Thursday,
think animation
we'll
stuff,
have stuff
actually.
also.
You guys have been requesting a lot of animation stuff.
Yeah, we've been getting a lot of questions about making a whole character from scratch, animation stuff, a lot of stuff just around get a character in there and make him do things. So we'll probably try to throw Wes into something like that.
Yep.
And then Thursday, we'll probably be covering more about how McLaren was done, but more details about that will come out soon. So we'll see you there.
Bye, guys.